is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a video. We're going to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans and what to expect as we get closer to ending this series. The Pelicans have AD, one of the best top 5 players in the NBA, one of the youngest players at the NBA, all NBA first team, a defensive guy, two-way player, can dominate offensively just as well as offensively. He has been able to carry his team to 2 playoff appearances, one against the Warriors, one against the Blazers when they swept all NBA first team and all-star Damian Lillard in the first round after Portland, one of their best seasons with the Trailblazers. The Pelicans was able to dispatch them in 4 games. And now they was able to make a run without DeMarcus Cousins. Now they have a whole season of no DeMarcus Cousins, and now they have the ability to play Anthony Davis at the center, something that he did a lot last year because of that injury, and we are most likely going to see a lot more. He's a matchup nightmare, able to handle the ball so quick, so athletic, guard skills, can shoot the 3, can put the ball on the floor, knock down the elbow jumper, can get to the free throw line, has hook shots, floaters. He can go in the pick and roll, pick and pop, dive, and, get the dunks, get the lobs, and obviously trail to the three-point line and spot up threes. He's a tough cover, virtually unguardable, especially when he plays that center position. Even if he played a power forward, he's going to get you 25 to 30 plus every single night. I feel like he's one of the players that's underrated with his motor. He gives you all he can every single night. Especially offensively. Some games he's just a only answer offensively, and he answers the call more than not, and that's why you've seen him as one of the top scorers. And I actually picked Anthony Davis to win a scoring title because his team is so bad, and the fact that they lost DeMarcus Cousins too allowed him to get more shots. And then even in the playoffs, we was able to see Anthony Davis really have some magical games, especially the closeout game when they needed him the most. He was able to close out his first series and his first elimination game. He really was able to go out there and show out against the Portland Trail Blazers with a performance of, let me get this for y'all. He performed and got 47 points in Game 4 in a sweep, 50% from 3, 65% from the field, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and just absolutely dominating. He averaged 33 points a game against the Portland Trail Blazers on 57% shooting. He went against the Golden State Warriors his first year in the playoffs, was able to average 30 points this year. He was able to average 27 points a game. He's an absolute beast. He's one of the best athletes in the league, and he is showing that he can carry a team, and you can win a championship with him being your best player. Now, the biggest problem with Anthony Davis is he just don't have enough talent to really beat the teams like the Rockets, to beat the teams like the Spurs, to beat the teams, of course, like Oklahoma City and Golden State. They're not scared of anybody. He feel like he can beat them. Realistically, they just don't have enough talent, and they just don't have enough defense and wings to really compete with these teams even this season. Last year, obviously, they had their best chance pairing them with an all-star and DeMarcus Cousins, but it didn't work their first year together, and it didn't work their second year together because of the injury. So we never really got to see the true potential of how great they could be as a duo and how dominant they can be in the playoffs, since they never played with each other the last 2 years he was there. So we never really got to see how dominant they really could be together because of injuries and because they traded for him mid-season. But now they got some size and some length. They bring in Jahlil Okafor, a guy that can torch secondary centers and other players. He's showing that he can shoot the three. He can knock down mid-range jumper. He's working on losing some weight, working on his handle. So hopefully we can see an inspired Jahlil Okafor as he's fighting to stay in the league. At age 22, he's already getting ready to be under. He's off his rookie contract, and a lot of teams, are going to look for a guy that can really give them some offense. And this is a year for Jahlil Okafor to resurrect his career and play and be his best. And I think this is a good pickup because they do need something different. Jahlil Okafor, we just don't really know what he's going to bring to the game right now because he's coming off those injuries and he didn't really get that much playing time in the teams he was on, especially after his rookie year. But when he did play, he showed that he can be a solid contributor. He can be a solid rebounder. He's not going to be a rebounder guy. He's not going to be a block guy, but he's going to be a guy that can give you instant offense. And I think that really helps their bench. Obviously, bringing Alfred Payton, he has become more aggressive. He's not a great defender. He's not a great offensive player. He's not even the greatest passer. But he's the guy that's going to come in there, run the offense, run the system, make sure everybody's getting their touches, everybody in their right positions. He's going to push it in fast break opportunities. And he's just going to bring some youth and some athleticism. And he's going to bring something watered down to what Rondo brought down. But he's also going to bring his own little style. And like I said, over the last 2 years, he has been more aggressive when it comes to scoring the ball. As people sag off of him and don't really pay him too much attention, he has become more of a guy that's using his IQ a lot more. He was already one of the smarter players coming into the NBA, but you're starting to see it even more. And he's another guy that's fighting to stay in the NBA and fighting for a long-term contract, possibly with another team, as he's 24 and he's almost out of his rookie contract. So we definitely want to see what's going to happen with Alfred Payton. Can he be a make or break player like Jahlil Okafor, or will he just be a one-year rental that's trying out for other teams this year? And if that's the case, we might see one of him. We might see one of his best years this year under the Pelicans. And you still got the Solomon Hills. You still got the Etwan Moores and the Ian Clark's guys that can play multiple positions, whether they're handling the ball or playing off the ball. Add some three-point shooting to that shooting guard position. Obviously, they're a little undersized for the three. Like I said, one of the biggest weaknesses on this team is the wing position because they really only have Solomon Hill and Darius Miller. Etwan Moore is just too small for that position. Troy Williams, we don't really know what they're going to get out of him. He's not a reliable asset at this point. So I think they're going to really struggle guarding the Kawhi Leonards, the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant, and people of that ilk, even Paul George's in the Western Conference, especially when the playoffs come. They don't really have an answer for those type of guys, and they actually be in a bad situation to go against those type of teams because they don't have a solid three guy. And that's why I was surprised they didn't try to make a run at a guy kind of like Kent Bazemore, a guy that can be a solid defender, but also give you that three-point shooting consistently. And he can play with Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday because he is more of a role player, but he does have the size, the experience. And he's a solid veteran, so you know what you're going to get out of him because he played for the Hawks and he played for other teams and was a solid contributor under those teams, but they didn't have the talent like Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis. Next, we're going to talk about Drew Holiday, a guy that resurrected his career after getting a big contract. A lot of people questioning on. A lot of people question if he can still play. Was he worth it? Was he going to be one of the worst contracts in NBA history? He responded very well, helping the team get to playoffs. When DeMarcus Cousins went down, he accepted the role of being the second best player on the team. He went out there and was so dynamic, playing as a ball handler and off the ball, knocking down threes, getting to the paint, getting out in transition, playing in pick and roll, dominating against the Portland Trail Blazers, really showing that he is a better offensive player than what he was in Philly, and he is reliable offensively. You can have Drew Holiday as your second or third best player on a decent team. He might be your third best player on a championship team, but that's not really that bad considering that he's a point guard that plays on both sides of the court. He's long, he's lanky, he causes mismatch problems, and he is still athletic, and he still can get to the paint and cause a lot of craziness and a lot of chaos. I like Drew Holiday. I was supporting him before and after the deal. I actually thought it was a good deal for the Pelicans to trade Nerlens Noel for a guy like Drew Holiday, not just because he was an all-star, because he was young and he did have that two-way potential, but he also was a solid scorer. And you're pairing him with a guy like Anthony Davis, a guy that doesn't handle the ball at that time. He was really just a pick and roll guy. Then he became more of a pick and pop guy, which helps Drew Holiday. And the fact that Drew Holiday can play multiple positions too, and he is a long, lanky, competitive, feisty defender, that's very undervalued now because you don't really see as many two-way players, especially at the point guard position. And Drew Holiday is one of those rare commodities. The only thing they held about was obviously the injuries, but one thing we couldn't deny is that Drew Holiday can play, and he's one of the top 10, top 7 point guards in the league when he is healthy. And once they needed him the most, when DeMarcus Cousins had went down, he rose to the occasion, and he showed why they gave him that money of, he's making $25 million a year, the same amount of money as Anthony Davis, but he earned every penny last year in the playoffs and also in the regular season when they needed him the most. The last guy I'm going to talk about is Nikola Mirotic. This was a guy that they used as DeMarcus Cousins went down. They had to get another guy that can really help balance out the offense and give them another weapon. He didn't really play necessarily well against Golden State, but he played exceptionally well, giving you 18 points, 9.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2.5 blocks, 1.8 steals, 83 from the free throw line, 46% from 3, and 57% against the Portland Trail Blazers, and he had a 30-point game in that series also. He was very effective, being able to post up when he has to, not down the spot up three, but also becoming one of those modern-day forwards that remind you more of a small forward, but he can shoot the three, he can get to the paint, he can get to the free throw line, but he also can play on and off the ball, which gave them that hard dynamic of guarding because they have these guys that can play multiple positions. They have these guys that can do multiple things and shoot the ball and space out the floor, but they can also do more than that, and that's what made this team just a headache to guard throughout the season. That's why they made the playoffs, and obviously for Portland, because they caused so many mismatches because of their length and their size and their ability, to have a guy like Anthony Davis that can basically score every possession and put you in nightmare situations, whether it's in the pick and roll or even just switching or even just posting up and getting to that paint or in the high post. So I like this team. I do have the Pelicans making the playoffs, which is a little surprising to people because the West has got harder. The West has got deeper. Only big thing is, can Anthony Davis stay healthy? He had injury concerns earlier in his career. He hasn't had it the last 2 years. Can Drew Holiday stay healthy? They don't have enough depth. If one of these guys get injured for 1 or 2 months, this will really hurt their chances of making the playoffs, obviously, because they don't have a good replacement for Drew Holiday. They don't have a legitimate replacement for a guy like Nikola Mirotic, and they have no replacement for the production that Anthony Davis have. But with adding Julius Randle, you have Jahlil Okafor, you have Nikola Mirotic, you still have some solid contributors and a lot of people that's hungry and want to prove themselves and, want to add more to their game so they can prolong their career and show that they can be used in multiple ways. Julius Randle was a guy that a lot of people feel that he should have got paid and he was worth the money and the Lakers should have had kept him. But at the end of the day, um, you know, they paid him $8 million, which is really nothing nowadays because everybody else. I mean, you look at a guy like Solomon Hill, he's making $12 million, and Julius Randle is probably a better player than him. Not only that, he's 23 years old, and he has a lot more potential to become even a better player. He's going to add some toughness on the inside. He's going to add some post play. He's going to add some versatility, being able to hit the floaters, knock down mid range jumpers, and even attack the offensive glass. And like I say, he does bring some toughness. He does bring a big body, and he does bring enough athleticism at the position that he will play. And, he has another guy that you don't really know what to expect, like Jahlil Okafor, like Nikola Mirotic. Them are guys that can hit you up for 16, 18, 19 points, and sometimes they can get you 20 to 25 if you have a bad matchup or you don't pay them enough attention. They can really hurt you by getting, a lot of easy opportunities from Drew Holiday. Anthony Davis taking a lot of attention from him, though he's one of those guys that can really hurt you with the floaters, the mid-range jumpers, and obviously getting offensive rebounds and putbacks, and even, being in the right area at the right time and getting dunks. So I like this team. I feel like they're good enough to be a 6, 7, or 8 seed. Anthony Davis at this point is just so dominant, so uncontrollable. It's not really a answer for him at this point. And as long as he continue to put in the work, continue to be a gym rat, continue to add to his game, he's just going to be even more tougher and harder to guard. He is going to be one of my top 5 MVP candidates, and he is going to be one of my top 3 scoring title favorites going into this season. And I think we're going to see a different Anthony Davis after having the dominant performance that he had in the playoffs, building that chemistry and that camaraderie with a lot of players on this roster, and having some new guys that's hungry and want to fight and want to prove themselves and earn more money and more long-term deals for their contract. I think that that's going to fuel them enough to get to the playoffs. I can see them getting out of the first round depending on who they do play against, but I also can see them losing in the first round at the same time. I do think they'd be in that 6th, 7th, and 8th lower spot. I think they'd be 9th or 10th, barely missing the playoffs, but that's only really due to injuries. Like I said, they have significant injury to their big 3, then I can definitely see them barely missing the playoffs but being in the race. But if they stay healthy for at least 65 plus games, I do see them being the 6th, 7th, or 8th seed and possibly getting out of the first round, just like they did this year, because Drew Holiday AD is one of the best duos, but they have a better supporting cast role player wise. You know, these last 2 years, and that's why they're going to be a tough out because of the mismatches, the size, the length, and the ability of having versatility. So check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Like on Facebook to show support. Check out my spread shirt. You can buy t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, mouse pads, pillowcases, whatever. You can buy all that on my spread shirt. Support that. Thanks for the support. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Check out my older videos. They're all in playlists for you guys to binge watch and continue to support the channel. Thanks for the support. Quinn Wade Basketball Now. I'm gone. Let me know what you guys think about the New Orleans Pelicans.